Hey, do you need some good news right now? Well, I got it. So, first, I'm going to give you the bottom line, and then I'll give you the backstory. But if you want the whole thing, this is going to be a bit of a long video, so hold here or hold here for 2 times speed. So, there's this neo Yahtzee organization, and their name rhymes with Patriot Front. Can't say the name on the app. They now owe one of their victims $2,755,000. That plaintiff's name is Charles Murrell. He was a man who was attacked in Boston. Now, my name is Christopher Goldsmith. I am the founder of Force Butler Institute and Veterans Fighting Fascism. Our mission is to make it a difficult and expensive choice to be a neo-Yahtzee. And today's court case proves that we are really effective, because the founder of Patriot Front, little Tommy Rousseau, he's now on the hook for almost $3 million in damages. So here's from start to finish. Front used to be called Vanguard America. They used to wear black and white. They went to the neo-Yahtzee rally in Charlottesville in 2017. The leader of Vanguard America at the time was this kid named Thomas Rousseau. I think still a teenager at the time, but a dedicated neo-Yahtzee. And one of Vanguard America's members, who has been photographed with Thomas Rousseau, James Fields, ran his car into a crowd of peaceful protesters, ending the life of Heather Heyer and injuring dozens more. Lots of neo-Yahtzees responsible for the Charlottesville violence and riot were held responsible, but Tommy Rousseau managed to get out of it. And he recognized that it was bad press to have his organization, Vanguard America, now associated with a terrorist attack. So he quite literally painted everything in red, white, and blue and renamed it to Patriot Front. And that managed to trick a lot of the press into kind of thinking these as two different organizations, but it's not. So this terrorist organization has been going around to neighborhoods around the country, sometimes in very large groups, getting out of U-Hauls, looking like they're dressed in Best Buy uniforms, carrying weapons, wearing armor under their uniforms. And they've been attacking people of color and people from the LGBTQ community. In fact, they started to establish clear patterns. They would train for violence. They built these steel shields that they would attack people with and practice attacking people with. And then Independence Day weekend of 2021, they went through the streets of Philly, maybe 100 or so of them, and they sought out a conflict and found one. They surrounded a black man and beat him. The beating and the man walking around bloodied has been used countless times by Patriot Front in their propaganda videos as kind of a recruiting thing, saying, hey, if you join our neo-Yahtzee organization, you're going to get to do stuff like this. The very next year, they went to Boston and did the same thing. That victim's name was Charles Murrell. Charles Murrell is an African-American musician who is walking down the street in his city, and he comes upon a marching group of men. He pulls out his phone and starts to record. And before he knows it, he's surrounded. He's now in this column of marching gang members. They surround him and they beat him with these metal shields, causing injuries, requiring him to go to the hospital. Members of the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force were right there, along with Boston PD. They witnessed the assault, and rather than do anything, law enforcement just said, move along, move along. Because when neo-Yahtzees commit violence in front of cops, cops tend not to do anything. They pretend, oh, I forgot what my job is. That's where we come in. So Force Butler Institute was founded so that we could gather evidence on criminal organizations like the Patriot Front. We would gather evidence of their criminality, of their conspiracies to commit hate crimes. We would put this all into reports and write them in the style of basically a lawsuit, so that either law enforcement could press hate crime charges or a plaintiff, a victim, could move forward with that type of thing. And that's exactly what happened. Charles Murrell and his legal team filed a federal lawsuit against Thomas Rousseau, Patriot Front, and John Doe's 1 through 99. And this hate group decided, well, we're not even going to show up. And, well, as of today, there's a default judgment for nearly $3 million against them. The report that we issued in September 2022 documented the assaults in Philly and Boston and the attempted assault against a pride event in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. That report, which didn't just analyze these specific incidents, it also analyzed the leadership structure, the training, and the communications that Patriot Front engages in, which was then translated to other lawsuits. Lawsuits in Virginia, in North Dakota, have used our research to hold these neo-Nazi gang members responsible for violence, property destruction, and conspiracies to commit hate crimes. Within the last 2 weeks, as a matter of fact, that Virginia lawsuit was settled by Patriot Front and a few of its members. Now it's a civil suit, and the results of the settlement are sealed. I don't know what's inside them, but I suspect that Patriot Front, that they're having some financial issues. So look, if you appreciate the work that the veterans of Task Force Butler does, go to taskforcebutler.org, sign up on our website. You can support us by donating or sharing our information. We're now less than a week away from a fascist taking the presidency. And we know that federal law enforcement is going to deprioritize existing attempts to go after these types of terrorist organizations. So unfortunately, it's going to be people like us who have to fill the gap. Law enforcement may keep failing, but these civil courts, we have proven they are effective. With Patriot Front having a $3 million judgment over its head and more coming, we've shown that we are effective in making it difficult and expensive to make the life choice of being a neo-Nazi. And we're not stopping just because Trump becomes president.